Good Friday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk, an insider's guide to real estate life and the pursuit of happiness here on the I Love CVille Network. Real Talk presented by Yes Realty Partners, YesRealtyPartners.com. Christopher Eagle says, you wish, Keith Smith, you were better dressed than him. Intrastate Service Company, a home's best friend. Intrastate Service Company, ISC, proudly serving this community. Sigora Solar, Charlottesville Settlement Company, American Pest, Pearl Certification, Dave Fafara and Shenandoah Joe's, Ross Mortgage, just the names you can count on in real estate in this community. A lot we're going to cover on today's program, and if you'd like to dictate the pace and tempo, put something in the feed and we will relay it live on air. Good morning, Keith Smith.
Good morning, Mr. Miller. Yeah, just back to the Christopher Eagle comment. Let's see what he looks like when he's like 60. You'll see how that plays out for him about another.
He's gonna look sharp.
He will, definitely will. He's a super sharp guy. I love him. He's a great asset to our organization.
One of the founding members.
He is. What do we call them? The charter members.
Charter member.
Charter members of Yes Realty Partners, and we're lucky to have him. To be honest with you. But don't tell him I said that, okay?
Chris, I'm going to put him on the spot right now. Are you ready?
Uh-oh.
Can you name all the all the charter members of Yes Realty Partners?
So I got these books with pictures in them. See these books? They got pictures in them. Let me see. Do I count?
Of course. You would go to count.
Okay. Yeah. Yonna and I, Christopher Eagle, Gavin Sherwood, Michael Plecker, Laura Jennings. Am I missing something here? Christopher, chime in. I think I got it. Maybe not. Maybe know that.
Are you?
Oh, Emily Funk.
Okay. Thank you.
Oops. Oh boy. Yeah, Emily Funk is a real estate agent and also is the person who keeps Keith Smith straight. But apparently she's not doing a good enough job on it.
And a designer extraordinaire.
Absolutely. Yeah, she holds 4 certificates of interior decorating, so it's pretty good.
And since the charter members, we've added Jason Taylor and Ryan Ferguson.
We have, absolutely, yeah. So I mean, we're growing, and we're growing in leaps and bounds. And the good news is, Mrs. Smith is running the shop there, and my job is to kind of do what we do 4 days a week and go out and sell houses and listings and stuff like that, and follow the rules.
Christopher said Emily Funk, Keith. Emily Funk.
I know that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Christopher.
He said Emily Funk. We love
Remember that
Emily
whole
Funk.
when you get to 60 thing? Remember that?
Tell us about the books you have in front of us.
So this was kind of started on Monday. Live feed jumped in, and we were talking about historical things and the history of Charlottesville, and as I just got a notification from the New York Times that January was 6.7% higher in total sales and inventory's low. And I just wanted to talk about something different than the lack of inventory. And the feed took over, and your brain and my brain took over, and we started doing it. So I went to Barnes & Noble's the other day, and I walked up, they have that little section in the middle that's almost like a librarian. And I said, look, I do this little show a couple of times a week. You got anything that's goofy or historical or fun of Charlottesville? And there's a book called Charlottesville, A Guide to the Weird, Wonderful, and Obscure. And if anybody was lucky, you can see all my little pink things, and I went over them yesterday. But we started before the show, and I did not know this, but we have an organization in town called LARP. So that is live action role play, also known as LARP, is known for a small subsection of people who are who are enthusiastic about outdoor recreation storytelling. Bottom line is, if you take a look at the picture.
What was that? What did the man say right there, Judah?
I'm reading.
I have
outdoor
no idea
recreation.
what he just said right there.
I'm reading. I can't even remember Emily Funk, so come on, give me a break. It's got pictures, guys.
Okay, so live action role playing.
Yeah.
We've seen folks in the park with shields, and
never
body
seen that.
armor, and jousting. Yeah, I've seen it.
Really?
I've seen it. Yeah. Yeah, it's around here.
Yeah, so it's at Downtown Park, and there's an actual website that does this. What is LARP anyway. I'm reading directly from the thing. I'll give my best shot to actually read. Participants physically portray characters and costumes, names, accents, and behaviors to enact a game plan. Players pursue a goal within a fictional setting and intersect with one another in character, whatever that all means. LARP can take many different real-world forms. Anyway, I never knew anything. I'm flipping through this book for topics to chat about, and have you heard of this before?
Yeah, we both have heard of it. This was also spoofed in many movies, right? Yeah. A Will Ferrell movie comes to mind. What movie were you going to bring up, Judah?
I don't even know if I remember the name of the movie. One of those kind of teen. Anyways.
Okay.
LARP is just the short version of that. Like.
We got to get your mic so our guests, no one can hear what you're saying right now, because we have no mic on your side.
So we planned the show really well.
Yeah. Next time we got to make sure that mic is set up there for Judah to offer some perspective. Anyway, live action role playing happens at Dardental Park.
And did you know? I did not know this reading through this book that there are 40 murals around Charlottesville.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of murals.
I did not know that. And there's a website that says Charlottesville Mural Project.
Yeah.
And they actually have an interactive map that you can go from mural to mural to mural on it. So I just thought that was pretty cool.
The folks that installed our new awning and branding, the signage firm and I don't know how you would characterize it. Museum, high-end museum work, signage. It's Gropin.
Gropin, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
TJ Ronayne owns it now, formerly of Neil Gropin fame. They do a tremendous amount of branding and signage installation, high-end museum work. They are one of the ringleaders or the foundation of the Charlottesville Mural Project.
I did not know that.
They do great work.
And you can literally, download it on your phone in an app
and go and do like a tour of them.
You do a tour of them.
It's almost like a craft beer tour. So one of the things that we have done that's quite enjoyable is do a brewery walking tour in the city of Charlottesville, and in between the brewery walking tour, you do the mural project tour. So you give yourself some time in between the breweries. You start like at 11 a.m. and then you go walk around from brewery to brewery and check out the murals.
I'm literally you're speaking downloading the app on it, and it's really cool. And actually, I was talking to Yonna on the way in. Who we were talking to our daughter in Seattle. We're having a three-way conversation on the way in, and she goes, that would be really cool if we kind of like do like leave a gift somewhere, or like a scavenger hunt for the show or something like that. I don't know. I just thought that was cool. We can leave a gift somewhere for somebody, but I did not know that. And I'm this idea on Monday has been just generating all kinds of interest for me to figure out what we've got going on in our town. Like, for instance, did you know that there's a piece of one of the 9/11 towers here in Charlottesville?
No, where's that at?
That's at the new firehouse on Fontaine.
Oh, the firehouse headquarters by Dirty Nelly's and Fry Spring Station.
That's exactly right. Right across from where UVA is proposing this affordable housing units over there. There's an actual piece of the one of the trade centers in there. They made an actual cross out of it. So I thought it was pretty cool.
That is a beautiful fire station. What else did you find from the book that interests you?
Oh God, let me see. I got all kinds of tabs on this stuff here. Let me see. Oh, Elizabeth Taylor was. I did not know that the movie Giant was filmed here. Which this is, if you're a classic movie guy or person like I am, this is pretty good. So this was a Rock Hudson, Elizabeth Taylor movie, and they actually they shot it up in Keswick. And interesting, which just looking through some of the history stuff. So across from the original Bodo's, there's the Executive Center.
Yeah.
Like, most people don't know what that is. This is about a 14-acre site that executives from all over governmental executives go all over the country coming over here for training and all that stuff. It used to be a hotel, which I did not know, and that's where all the stars from this movie Giant stayed. So it was pretty. I mean, I got it last night. I'm just flipping through kind of stuff last night. It was just pretty cool. Like, the coal tower up around the corner.
There was a standoff at the coal tower.
There was a couple tragedies.
Yeah.
At the coal tower. And
that was slightly before my time. Do you remember that?
I do remember it. There was a believe it was a suicide homicide. Let me see. It was a double. I'm reading it right now. It was a double homicide and a suicide there that happened in the early 2000s. But it's interesting. I did not know this. Reading through this book, that there's supposed to be a park underneath there that hasn't been built yet. That was approved by the city. That's part of why it's still there. It's like a historical icon supposedly on it.
What's your favorite park in the area?
Oh, wow.
And your buddy, is it Shar? Your former buddy over at
Shar.
Yeah, Shar. He's giving you some props.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Shar. My favorite park. You probably have to be more specific on what I want to do. So I'm into hiking and running and biking. So I've been going to Biscuit Run lately.
Okay.
On the bike, not in the winter months. McIntyre I like, and the fact that they built that skate park there is really cool. Apparently, again, reading in here, Tony Hawk donated a ton of money to go
and help design it
and help design it. So, I just was just really interesting. And I know we were talking about doing this in April. But I just was kind of wanting to do some history research.
What's the other book?
The other book I haven't looked at yet, so I'm trying to do that real quickly. So this is the history of buildings in Charlottesville, and I just happened to open it up they break it down by like hotels, right? And you start taking a look through the book on the different hotels, and I didn't realize we had like multiple hotels back in the late 1800s and early 1900s. But as I got out of my truck today, I took a look at the Monticello hotel, and I haven't read it in great detail, but it looks like there was two variations to that. There was the 9-story structure, which I think is what we have now, but there was another one built in the 20s on that end of it that which hosted Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Robert Taylor, Guy Lombardo, Tommy Dorsey. These are folks back from the in the 20s, the 30s, and the 40s at 500 Court Square, which I think it's the same building. But I'll be honest.
500 Court Square is right over there.
Yeah, but
where Mickey Hamlet used to be, where Court Square Tavern is.
Correct. So
I believe that's the tallest building in the city of Charlottesville.
It is. So the 9-story.
Did you guys know that? That's a trivia question for you.
Yeah. So the 9-story structure replaced the Jefferson Hotel. That was originally named the Albemarle. Let me say, there was a thing in here that this was like the tallest building south of Philly at one point here. But I'm trying to read this as we're going through here. So we didn't do a lot of prep today. I just literally picked these up last night. But it's just pretty cool. You start looking at this stuff, and there's like these motor hotels that used to be back here in the 40s and the 50s that don't exist any longer. That they're either shopping centers or developments or somewhere along those lines. So I just thought this was.
What is the second tallest building in the city of Charlottesville?
Well, I think it would be the abandoned building is what I would think.
Is the Landmark taller than the Omni? Anybody on the fee know that answer?
Oh, that's a great question.
What is the second tallest building in the city of Charlottesville? First one is the old Monticello Hotel, 500 Court Square.
I think that's clearly the tallest.
Court Square Tavern is. Mickey Hamlet, the law firm, used to be there. They've sold their position there because the original partners wanted their investment back.
Sure.
Now, I know this because they're
the old Miller and Rhodes
our
building.
law firm. Now they're in a very nice, shiny law firm behind Truist, former BB&T Bank. I think, is the Omni the second tallest building in the city of Charlottesville? Judah, do you know that answer? Can you Google that real quick?
Somebody needs to Google that for the thing. I think Drewberry is awfully close. So the old Miller and Rhodes building, which is now was the BB&T building, all that stuff. That is.
Where's that?
That's right across from.
Tallest buildings in Charlottesville.
Number one is the old Monticello Hotel, 500 Court Square. We got to get this mic over with you. I'm maybe asking you on the fly. That would be great.
Yeah. So the old Miller and Rhodes department store is directly across from the Drewberry. It's literally across from the Drewberry.
Oh,
where the
that's
fountain.
not the B. Okay, that there is a bank there.
It used to be BB&T.
I believe that's a Wells Fargo.
It's a Wells Fargo, but it used to be BB&T.
Yeah.
So it went.
There's law firms in that one too.
It went Miller and Rhodes, which was originally was a department store. I don't even need to read the books on that. I know this because I remember when I first got here, it was still that way. And then it turned into a bank, a BB&T. Then it's now multiple things. Interesting thing about the Drewberry building, this conversation actually came up yesterday with a couple of structural engineer buddies of mine. We were looking at a project someplace in Northern Virginia, and we've referenced this before. That's a tension steel concrete building.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you put skins on these buildings. Concrete is porous. That thing's been there for how many years? 10 years?
Let's see.
Something like that.
Landmark Hotel.
It's actually in one of these tabs. If I was quick enough, I'd go
Dewberry
ahead and
Hotel,
look at
formerly
it.
the Dewberry. Let's see, the hotel. Hulsley Miners started it since 2009.
So what happens with that is you have these concrete piers, and inside of it there's steel, right? There's rebar and there's tension steel in it, and concrete is as you know is got lime in it, and concrete is also porous. Water actually penetrates concrete on that end of it, and what happens in that stuff starts rusting from the inside out. I'm really, my engineer buddies, we were talking about another project. They wanted to know what was going on. They literally was listening to one of your shows. I think it wasn't a Real Talk, it was an afternoon show, and they were referencing that.
So we have some information for you. This is in court. If you Google tallest building, city of Charlottesville, this is interesting. The tallest building in the city of Charlottesville, according to this website, is the Draftsman Hotel. 10 floors and 121 feet tall.
Oh, you know what? I get it.
On West Main.
Yeah.
The second tallest building in the city of Charlottesville is evidently a tie. And I'll put this link in the comment section of my Facebook page right now. I'll put it on the comment section of, in fact, this is a great topic. The comment section of LinkedIn, where the show is streaming, and I'm going to tweet it now, tallest buildings in the city of CVille.
So that's interesting because I'm reading now. Again, we're relying on Google and a book I picked up and whatever. But the book that I'm reading calls the Drewberry 11 Stories. What did you say the Draftsman was?
So the Draftsman is 10 stories, but they're ranking this by feet. Even more specific than stories. So according to this, and I just put it on a couple comment sections, feet, the Draftsman is 121 feet, built in 2018, 10 floors.
Yeah.
The University Hospital New Tower, 500 Court Square, which you referenced, 1800 Jefferson Park, which is a condo complex.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that building.
The Lewis and Clark Square building, and the Doubletree Hotel. Doubletree Hotel, that's Albemarle County, isn't it? That's definitely Albemarle County. Because Albemarle County starts at Stonefield. So Lewis and Clark, 1800 Jefferson Park, 500 Court Square, and the University Hospital New Tower, according to this website, are all 109 feet. So a tie for second. And the third slot is the flats at West Village at 101 feet. Interestingly, the Dewberry is not listed here, so maybe this is just finished property.
You think maybe?
Yeah, maybe it's just finished.
You think
The
maybe?
20 tallest buildings in the city of Charlottesville.
So this does not, the article I'm reading does not have the total height of the Drewberry, but the reason why there's the difference between the 10 and 11 stories is Drewberry is set up as a hotel, so the floor-to-floor height difference
Yeah, the ceilings are taller.
is less in Drewberry than it is in Draftsman. That's the reason. I'll bet you.
Well, the Draftsman's a hotel.
Correct, but I think they built it differently. They gave a little bit of room between it.
So according to this website, and I just put this in the comment section across many of the pages on the network. In fact, I'll add it in other pages. So if you're watching on Facebook, I'm now putting it in the comment section across the board for you to reference. According to this website, the Draftsman is the tallest building in the city of Charlottesville. Do you think that's accurate?
It's all, I'm going to not doubt the internet, right?
Well, I mean, sometimes.
Because it must be true, right?
Sometimes. If it's on the interwebs,
It's on the interwebs, it must be true.
it must be true.
I would, if we're going to, I'm trying to figure out real quickly if somebody could determine what the overall height of the Drewberry is.
Let me see if I can
on
find
that end of it. But definitively, I can see that it's finished. Unfinished, yeah. And I forgot about the hospital, right? The new hospital. I'm not so sure how tall the new hospital is.
According to CVillepedia, and we're doing this literally on the fly, so this is when the show starts to get really, really good here. According to CVillepedia, I think it's 101 feet. So that would mean the Draftsman is taller than the Drewberry.
Yeah. But I'm curious and how old that data is. The new section of the hospital, I believe, is taller than, and that this whole height thing gets a little goofy, right? Because it all depends on what grade you take it from, right? So if you take a look at the Drewberry, right, the grade on the front of the Drewberry is higher than the grade on Water Street, right? Or that's Market Street. Water Street, on Water Street down there. So are they pulling the height from Water Street, or are they pulling the height from Market? Or are they doing, from a planning perspective and a zoning perspective, what they usually do, they split the difference in the middle, so they just pick the middle of it and determine what that height is.
What do you think, how about this question for you? What do you think is the most, maybe important is not the right word, the most important or iconic street in the city of Charlottesville?
Oh, wow. Residential or
We could do both.
commercial? Yeah, personally, I would say the most iconic street. Are we considering the downtown mall as a street or as a pedestrian mall?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I call that a pedestrian mall, so that doesn't count as a street.
So we're going to pull.
Technically, the downtown mall is a park.
Correct. So we're pulling the downtown.
I'll pull that out.
I would say the downtown mall.
Did you know that was technically a park?
I did not know that, but that makes sense, though. It makes
Yeah.
sense. So that may be some of the struggle with trying to do the beer, the brewery concept, and the beer concept that you guys are trying to push. Has that had some issue with it at all? Or?
No. I think the issue with that primarily was COVID.
Got it.
But I think it's technically a park, which a lot of folks that are pushing seating
That's it.
downtown are like, dude, this is a park. Let's get seats here for people to enjoy. But I would say the most important streets, not
So why are they not doing that, you think?
the seating,
Yeah.
the benches.
Yeah.
I mean, we know why.
Got it.
I mean, I would say they previously had benches and on the downtown mall, and what ended up happening when there were benches around the downtown mall is oftentimes the benches were monopolized by houseless individuals. And houseless individuals were hanging around downtown waiting for meals because many of the soup kitchens or the free meals are off the downtown mall. You got the Haven, you got a couple of churches that have soup kitchens and free meals. So you had a collection of houseless folks hanging downtown. And then eventually the Downtown Business Association of Charlottesville lobbied council to remove the benches to help slim down the houseless population that was chilling on the downtown mall in between meals at various soup kitchens around the mall. So that really is what happened.
To tie that all together and back to my book with all these pink tabs.
Yeah.
You probably know this, but I didn't know it until I read it.
Uh-huh.
The Haven.
Yeah.
Right? Did you know how that got started?
Tell me.
It got started by a director by the name of Tom Sayek. I can't pronounce his last name, but he was the director for Bruce Almighty.
Okay.
And he actually created it with the funding to actually create the Haven. So I thought that was pretty interesting, and it's interesting. Weekly, the kitchen opens for the community. The Haven home cooking for a $10 donation. Anybody can enjoy an excellent hot meal in there. So you can actually go there, donate $10.
And the meals are pretty darn good. I've actually done that.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
It's worth anyone who's watching or listening to this program in real time or afterwards to do the $10 donation. The meal is pretty legit, robust, and delicious. And you're giving your money to a good cause.
And they bring in guest chefs?
They do.
To do all that? That is, literally, I was reading until 11 o'clock at night last night with this. There's just some really neat stuff in there that I've been living in here since, that's what this whole idea happened on Monday. I've been living here for 35 years, and, you drive past the Haven, but, how did that actually get started? And I just found out that you can actually get a, guest chef, meal for $10.
Yeah, and it's legit, guys. I have done it. You should try it. It's very quintessential Charlottesville, and you see an array of people from different backgrounds and socioeconomic statuses eating there, all in a very communal setting, which is super cool, I think. So multiple folks are asking most important, influential, or iconic streets in the city of Charlottesville. Let's go residential and commercial. I have some ideas for this.
Yeah, so we're limiting it to the city of Charlottesville.
Yeah, 10.2 square miles,
and
just for the sake of this show.
Got it, and we're excluding the park.
We're saying the downtown mall is a pedestrian mall, a.k.a. it's literally, by definition, a park, so that does not count.
So to go back to the park question, that's my favorite park.
Okay, the downtown mall is my favorite park, too.
Yeah,
all right.
I did not realize that was in the list.
It's by definition a park.
I did not know that. I'm learning all kinds of neat things today.
Yeah.
So, as you well know, I love the downtown mall, so that is a park. That's my favorite park. When you say favorite street iconic street that comes to mind, it would be West Main.
Yeah, see, that was mine.
That's what comes to mind.
That was mine as well. West Main.
But it's not residential, though.
We'll call that the commercial. That was mine.
Well, so when we define iconic, it's iconic buildings. We just talked about a couple of them. You can see the rotunda, obviously, which is iconic in itself.
Well, why I think it might be the most important is because it connects the university to the downtown mall.
So it used to drive my kids nuts because whenever if I'm driving around town, I always go up or down West Main Street. I always
because you want to see what's going on.
I want to see what's going on. It's great to see the kids. It's always a little bit of it's a ton of life going on.
Yeah, it's vibrant.
There you go, vibrant. That's the right choice of words. So it's vibrant. You can see what's going on. I might decide to stop for a martini at Maya. Maybe not. Depends.
Maybe yes. Maybe no.
Yes. Maybe no. Yes. Depending on the day, or stop by
with your kids.
Well, when they were at driving age, it was much easier. Here's my key.
Good save there, Keith.
Here's my keys, kid. Yeah, well, it's the coffee's kicking in.
I see that. I like when it does that. I like when it does that.
So
about residential. I got an idea for residential.
City of Charlottesville.
Yeah.
Residential.
Iconic residential.
So we got to define what iconic means.
When you think of a residential street in the city of Charlottesville, which one comes to mind first?
Oh man, I tend to think more neighborhoods oriented on that end of it. Streets end of it. I think like Park and Locust.
Dude, chemistry's working here.
Park
I was
and
thinking
Locust.
Park.
Yeah, Park and Locust.
Park Street.
Yeah.
Those Victorian homes.
Park and Locust, and it's interesting again in the book, and in this book too. Here was talking about the old Martha Jefferson Hospital. When you first came here, was Martha Jefferson?
Oh
Hospital? Yeah.
Still there on High Street.
I got a story about Martha Jefferson.
Well, what's the story?
Is Mrs. Smith watching?
Yonna, are you watching?
I
Give
think
us a
she's
little
actually
nod
out.
if you're
I think
watching.
she's out with a client today. So, daughter number 2.
Okay.
We live in at Lake Monticello. Daughter number 2. So the story about this is when your wife says it's time to go to the hospital, you go to the hospital instead of saying, I got to make a couple of phone calls.
I got a story about that as well. Hopefully my wife's not watching on that.
True story. So the 2-minute contractions, yada yada yada, it all hits on the end of it. So we come in on 616 through into town is when we were coming in at that point, and Yonna's water broke halfway through.
Okay.
Halfway through it. So they just finished the new free bridge.
In your truck?
No, we had a brand new car at that point in time, and that's part of the story. I think we just bought our first BMW or whatever it was. I can't remember. No, it was a Honda Accord,
Okay.
4-door Honda Accord, brand new. I just bought it because I wanted to have a brand new car to put my new kid in and all this kind of great stuff. So I stopped at the traffic light because
Okay.
it was a red light.
Okay.
And Yonna is grabbing the arm thing, kind of in the middle of labor, and all these people are looking at us because she's kind of screaming a little bit. And I waited for that red light to turn green, and she's like looking at me, what are you doing? So it's my Marine Corps training, I calmed down. So we pull into the old Martha Jefferson.
It's on High Street.
It's on High Street. And I just instinctively flipped the keys to the guy there, and I said, would you park this? And we're going in. Now, keep in mind, when she got to when we walked in, she was 9.5 centimeters dilated.
Okay, so the baby's coming out.
Yeah. She literally, her dress did not come off.
Okay.
We were in the hospital with them.
This was baby number 2.
This baby number 2.
Because baby number 2
came a lot faster than
comes
baby.
a lot faster.
A lot faster than
Yeah.
baby number 1.
Right.
But the point was I got in the elevator, we get into the birthing room, and I realized I just gave my keys
To a stranger.
To a stranger.
So you have no idea who
so
it is.
I went, I'll be right back. And Yonna's going, really? And I went back down to the guy, and I said, okay, give me my keys back. And I went back up there, and I literally came in enough time to catch and cut the cord and do that. And I think at that point, Mrs. Smith should have realized, she was in a bit of trouble.
Well, so did he park the car?
Oh yeah, he parked the car. He did. The guy was a super cool guy, but
And where was he? Where you found him to get the keys back?
no, he was the security guy.
Okay.
At the front when you would go into the ER. There's a guy.
So probably not his first rodeo in that scenario.
Probably not. But the point was my New Yorker kicked in. I went,
You're like, oh my gosh.
holy shit! I just gave my keys to a brand new car to a stranger. I'll be right back. And the doctor and the nurse and Yonna are looking at me like Forrest does. Huh? Really? And
It's a tough position for us guys. We're rendered, frankly, useless.
I delivered our first daughter.
How so?
Doctor wasn't around, nurse wasn't around, and literally.
In the hospital, the doctor or the nurse were not around?
Absolutely, yeah.
So what did you do? All right, so you weren't useless there.
I delivered the baby.
You took the baby?
Oh yeah, sure.
You cut the umbilical cord?
Yep.
No.
I did.
You BSing here.
I am not being. It's a part of my training. When I was on that, we were
You
paramedics.
You didn't push the button for the nurse or the doctor?
No, we did. Yeah. So we delivered it without the doctor.
If I ask Yonna
You
that,
ask Yonna, she will tell you that we delivered it without the doctor. She will no BS. We delivered it without the doctor.
okay, and then when the doctor...
That's the reason her nose is like this. His nose is like that.
Don't say that about your daughter.
No, I'm only teasing.
When you
We literally delivered her.
When
In
you
Ottawa,
deliver
Canada.
without the doctor,
Yeah.
does the doctor...
Doctor was literally playing golf.
Does the doctor and nurse then come by and say, what's going on here?
No. Truth be told, Yonna is giving, and as the baby's coming out, the nurse came in right behind me. So, but I caught. We were alone. We were alone up until the crown.
I hope you got a discount there on the bill.
That's a long story.
Oh, tell us the story.
Yeah. No.
Did you get a discount on the bill?
No. So the duty I was on, I wasn't allowed to get married.
Okay.
and because I had to sign a contract that I couldn't get married, I couldn't have children and all this stuff. So we did this all on our own. And
Well, you're saying off the books.
off the books, yeah. We had to pay, so the military wouldn't pay for it. We had to pay for everything and all this. When I told you on Valentine's Day that woman left everything from being on the track of being an ambassador to come out with me to give birth in Ottawa,
Yonna,
Canada.
you are a saint.
Ottawa, there's not a single day that goes by that I just don't say, thank you, honey.
A saint.
It's an absolute true story. True story.
So did the military find out that you got married and were having a kid?
How well do you know me?
Pretty well. So the answer is no.
The answer is no.
The answer is no.
Interesting story how I got her into the country.
I want to hear that story, but would the military have cared?
Well, if I would have got married, I would have ended up in the brig. So I would have went
what?
In the jail. I would have went to jail. So, no, I signed the contract. Couldn't get married.
How'd you sneak Yonna into the country?
So I didn't say I sneaked.
How'd you get her in the country?
It's a long story. So,
we got time.
We got time.
Yeah.
We got time.
We got time.
We got time today. So I've never told you the story.
And you've told me a lot of stories, dude.
I do.
Being friends with Keith Smith is hearing stories from Keith Smith.
Yeah. Well, but I add a little flavor from time to time.
Getting to know Keith Smith knows that every story's got about 80% true and about 20%. How would you put it, Judah?
Style.
Style.
Flavor.
Is that how you would put it,
That's
Judah?
flavor.
Yeah, sure.
Style.
I think it's 90-10. I think you're exaggerating.
I think it's about. It depends on the day.
It depends on the day and who. But so the duty that I was on, never wore a uniform, but nobody really knew what we did, kind of stuff. But we reported directly to the ambassador, so that was our direct report. So typically we were 5 Marines, 6 Marines, 8 Marines, whatever it was. And just to put this into a little perspective, this was in the first half of the 80s during the Reagan years. So Reagan at that time was appointing ambassadors that were former military. So the ambassador in Ottawa was a retired admiral, which is a general in the Marine Corps or in the Army. So the embassy didn't do green cards. So what the rest of the story was, the military allowed me 48 hours prior to leaving to get married, so then I can bring in my wife at that point. So I finagled a deal with the military because I was rotating out, and I did what I do best, right? I made a deal. I negotiated with the U.S. government and won, by the way.
Okay.
But the thing was, I had to go to Montreal for the green card, and that's an hour and a half drive. So we got a newborn, just newly married, right? Driving to Montreal. That's where you would get your green card. Again, nobody really knows what they have. All they know is I've got a black diplomatic passport. That's all they know. So we're sitting down. So Yonna was born in Beirut. I don't know if I ever told you that. No. Yonna was born in Beirut. Was born in an American hospital. Got bombed right after she was born. So she has no birth certificate. We just spent a half a decade under communism, both of us, on that stuff. And we walk in front of this officer, walked in front of this immigration guy that was going to give us a card that was younger than you. It was like a kid was right out of college.
Okay.
And he looks at everything, and he literally, his eyes lit up. He thought he caught a communist terrorist. Somebody was born in Beirut. Got to remember, Hezbollah was blowing the heck out of us up in the first half of the 80s. That's the reason I wear hearing aids. And we were in the height of the Cold War. And so Miss Smith was getting a little upset and was about ready to jump over the table and choke this guy. And I said, meeting is done. I put Yonna down, drove an hour and a half back. We had an open door policy to the ambassador, knocked on the ambassador's door, told the ambassador what was going on, picked up the phone, called this guy, put a series of 4-letter words together, which I didn't think you could do.
Okay.
Told him he had 45 minutes to get to the embassy with a green card, hour and a half drive. If he wasn't, he was going to personally go down there and kick his ass. 45 minutes later, guy rolls in, says, sorry, Mr. Smith, I didn't know who you were, and gave me a green card. So the story is it's kind of, getting immigration was always hard. I don't know what we would have did if I didn't have my connections.
Well, you probably wouldn't have been in the country.
I would have, Yonna would have stayed in Ottawa because Yasmina was an automatic citizen because of birth from me. And so I was now 24 years old, rotating. I had to go to Langley in 2 days with a 2-week-old or whatever it was.
Well, wouldn't you have stayed in Ottawa? Well, I guess you could.
I didn't have to. I had to rotate out. I had orders to be in Quantico and Langley on a certain day. And if I didn't have that, I was taking a 2-week or 1-week-old baby out. So I needed to solve a problem, and I solved the problem. It's kind of what we do every day, by the way. We solve problems.
What did
I never told you that story.
You've told me bits and pieces of the story, not in totality like that. What did Yonna's parents say about this ordeal?
Which one is that?
Yeah.
Me?
Okay, why don't we start there?
Yeah, is she watching?
I haven't seen her nod her head.
So my mother-in-law was in love with me.
Okay.
She called me her Robert Redford.
Her Robert Redford. Wow.
And I used to fly over there just to spend a week with her, just to spend time with her. I loved the hell out of my mother-in-law. She was just a wonderful, wonderful woman. Just take Yonna, and was my mother-in-law. They were exactly the same people. But she was living alone in the country, and I would just fly over every once in a while. I was doing business in Europe at the time.
Okay.
And so I'd fly over and spend a week with her and take her to doctors and do stuff like that.
Now, you mentioned the mother-in-law.
Yeah, my father-in-law, we had a great relationship. I loved him to death. But you have to understand, he came, he was a diplomat, a journalist. When he passed away, just so that you know, King Hussein, I still have it. We got a handwritten note from King Hussein. He was very well connected in the Middle East back in the late 40s.
King Hussein?
Yeah, from Jordan.
Okay.
I'll show. If you ever come to my house, I'll show you a picture. There's a picture of his 80th birthday that has the heads of the finance ministers from Kuwait, Iraq. There was more money sitting at that table than we probably have in the United States. It was pretty. He was a very well connected man, but he wanted his daughter to be an ambassador.
Okay.
So it took me a couple of years to warm that up.
And did you do that?
Of course I did. I sell for a living. What's wrong with you?
I have no doubt that you were able to do that.
What's wrong with you?
I have no doubt.
Yeah. Did I ever tell you the story about the house that got stolen and ended up in Russia?
You've mentioned this before on the show, but this is a damn good story. Tell them this story.
So one of the things I learned when I was behind the Iron Curtain, the most capitalist people I ever met in my life were communists. And, pretty much for a carton of Marlboros or dollars, you can pretty much get anything you want. So the wall comes down. My father-in-law leaves Bank Austria and starts working for, actually part owner of 2 firms. So the wall just came down, one in Hungary and one in East Berlin,
okay,
which is now, becomes Berlin, now came back together again. One was an engineering firm and one was a construction firm. So the vision I had was to send prefabricated houses over to Eastern Europe because they had no homes. Anyway, make a long story short, designed a special home that literally could be put together and taken apart on it. It was so smart of me to design that. And so we make relationships with this Hungarian engineering company, the East Berlin construction company. There's a sales team, hundreds of thousands of dollars. We designed this home. We get it approved by the German government. And so the way they do that over there, they do these master houses, or they do these sample houses, or these spec houses inside an existing structure. So there's this hall. So the hall was owned by a French company. I've got an East German construction company. I've got a Hungarian engineering firm, and then a sales team that's coming out of Vienna. Nothing's going to go wrong. Oh, and then there was a Turkish construction crew on that. So I fly over there. We ship all the stuff over. We build the thing. I teach everybody how to assemble it and disassemble it. Fly back home. 2 weeks go by, no sales. Call my father-in-law, say, hey, we got no sales. What's going on? Stop being American, be patient. I said, okay, I'll be patient. 2 weeks later goes by, no sales. I'm going, something ain't right. Hop in a plane, fly over unannounced. The French-owned master hall has chains on it, locked up. I went, So I did me. I got myself into the building. And guess what? The house was gone. So the moment, as it turns out, the moment I left, literally got back on the plane, the Russian mafia came in, connected, I swear to God, this is a true story, connected with the Turkish construction company, which I taught how to build and put together, disassembled it, and there is a house somewhere in Russia that I own, sitting somewhere over there.
And you don't know where in Russia.
True effing story. I swear to God, it's a true story. And the funny thing, so kind of this whole I stole your daughter away from the thing, after that story never came back up again. So maybe it worked out okay. Never heard, because it was like, well, hold it. It was.
So maybe the part of the dowry was this house donated to Russia.
I believe that was.
That's the dowry right there.
I believe that was it. I miss him dearly. Really unique man. Spoke 5 languages. It's interesting. He was a Tiger tank commander. He was in the Wehrmacht. He was, was on the other side of the coin in World War II.
Our friend Lee Elberson on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Trivia question for Keith.
Uh-oh. It's a Marine question, I know.
If you get this correctly, he's going to buy you lunch.
Okay.
Lee, I will make sure he doesn't use his phone to Google the answer. Here's the trivia question from Lee Elberson. You get this right, you get free lunch from Lee Elberson.
Do I get to pick where?
Lee, does he get to pick where for lunch?
Okay, shoot.
So here's the trivia question. Let us know if he gets to pick where at Lee Elberson for lunch. Because you would say Petit Pois, wouldn't you?
Depends on the difficulty of the question. Let's see how it goes. I don't know, you're smiling, so it can't be good.
Well, here we go. Who was the first commandant of the Marine Corps?
Commandant.
Oh. Thank you. The Commandant. Sorry, Lee.
Oh, God.
Who was the first Commandant?
I lose. I can't remember.
Did you know that at one time?
Oh, shit, yeah. Yeah. Oh, God. First Commandant of the Marine Corps.
You better get this. Does he get to pick the lunch spot, Lee Elberson?
No, I'm having to see.
You got a blank here?
I got to see. I remember the Commandant when I was in the Marine Corps was P.X. Kelly, because I met him a couple of times. But I don't remember the first Commandant of the Marine Corps. Oh, God. Can you give me? Got to give me at least the rest of the show for that to pop in.
Well, I mean.
Yeah. No. You win. I buy him lunch.
No, that wasn't part of it. He said he was going to buy you lunch.
Hey, look. Any opportunity to see Lee, any opportunity to talk to a fellow Marine, I'm in.
Lee Elberson's good people. Lee Elberson, sounds like you just got lunch courtesy of Keith
so
Smith here.
tell me who it is.
He does. He says what in all caps with question mark. Yeah. Shocked that you don't know this answer.
Yeah. So here's a question for Lee. Do you have any dreams of boot camp?
All right, he'll give you some initials as a hint. SM. I'm having the conversation with Lee here in the LinkedIn comment section while chatting with you about this. This is the beautiful thing about social media.
SM. Oh, God. So, as I'm thinking this through, ask Lee this, well, he's listening, right? So
he's listening and typing.
This question, if he has this dream, I have this dream every once in a while.
He says he's going to buy you lunch anyway.
Yeah, because I love him. But
you want the answer?
No, I'm Smedley.
He just gave me the answer.
Okay,
that's not what it is.
It's SM. Okay. Ask him.
Major.
Oh, God. Oh.
I'll give you a hint. The first name is synonymous with one of the most iconic mustache cowboys in movies.
Tom Selleck?
Was Tom Selleck Judah ever in a cowboy?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
Who was he?
Quite a bit actually. He was a
Blue Bloods. Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
IMDb.
No. I know for a fact he was.
Which one?
Oh God! What was the one they did in New Zealand?
There's a ton of them. Let's see. We got.
Judah, put your face on camera. Let's go to the shot over there.
So Lee,
set up.
I literally had this dream.
I need to give you the answer. Should I give you the
No,
answer?
no. Let me. Give me. I'm old. I'm old. Give me a
Would
little
you
bit of
say
time.
Tom Selleck is more iconic of a mustached cowboy in movies than Wyatt Earp's? Now I'm drawing a blank on this.
Oh, you're talking about Russell.
Yeah.
Tombstone?
Yeah, Tombstone.
Not Russell. Ken Russell.
No, Ken Russell.
Who played? Who? Okay, so Tom
This is the
Selleck.
problem with doing stuff
Tom,
in real time.
this is the time. So
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell.
Okay, Kurt Russell.
Kurt
I would say
Russell?
Kurt Russell is an iconic cowboy. All right, so I would say the
No,
most.
there's no way Kurt Russell. So my Kurt Russell is the '60s Disney movies. Kurt Russell in my brain. I just dated myself usually, but Kurt Russell used to do all these goofy Disney movies in the late '60s.
Okay, the iconic mustache cowboy I was talking about was Sam Elliott. Does that help you then
Oh, yeah,
on
yeah.
the Commandant answer? Remember my hint. Same first name as the most iconic mustache cowboy
Yeah,
in movies.
I'm losing.
Samuel Nicholas.
Yeah, no, he wins. I flaked out, totally flaked
Or,
out.
excuse me, Nicholas. Samuel Nicholas.
So-
Major Samuel Nicholas.
Got it. Well, I lost there, Marine. So apparently I'm not.
Sam Elliott. Thank you, Lee Alderson.
So I literally had this dream last night. I have these dreams every once in a while that somebody knocks on the door and goes, you know what? We miscalculated, and you owe us so many hours of boot camp left over at the age of almost 60. I swear to God, I had this dream last night, and I have it a recurring dream, and that I have to go back at the age of almost 60 to go through Marine Corps boot camp all over again. And what Lee is referring to is the history of the Marine Corps is literally beat into your head. Apparently, at the age of 59 and some odd months,
You've told this story before.
you lose it on that end.
Okay, did you look up the Tom Selleck IMDb?
Yeah, Tom Selleck.
Filmography?
It's the one that he.
Which ones he's a part of?
Yeah, he was in Silverado, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, along with Kevin Costner.
And you got the 3-shot Gary Palmer. What up, dog? Welcome to the program. You got the 3-shot set up so we can get Judah Wickower in
So
the
we'll
mix
just
here?
some real estate somewhere in this conversation.
These are some of our best shows. Some of our most entertaining shows.
I-
Some of our most fun to host, you would say.
You know, I love doing these shows 4 times a week. I love doing this time. But what we're doing right now, I really love.
Quigley Down Under.
Quickly Down Under. That's
the
it.
Queen of Earlysville, Vanessa Parkhill,
There you
watching
go.
the program.
Quickly Down Under.
Give some props to the Queen of Earlysville,
Hey,
Vanessa
Queens of
Parkhill.
Vanessa Parkhill. Earlysville. Queen.
Yeah, Queen of Earlysville. She's amazing. She makes the shows better. Judah, you were going to say Quigley Down Under?
That is the big one. But
That's
there's
the
a,
Queen
No,
of
there
Earlysville.
was
but there's a
several.
whole list of them.
Yeah, there's all kinds of.
Rattle off some other ones.
Okay, we got The Shadow Riders, 1982. Quigley Down Under's 1990. Ruby, Jean, and Joe, 96. Last Stand at the Sabre River, 97.
So while we're on
Crossfire
westerns, who is your famous western star?
I mean, Tombstone is my favorite.
Western movie?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
It's
so-
good.
so-
Val Kilmer is Doc Holliday.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know anyone who's,
yeah,
okay, in my time, in my generation of movies,
Yeah.
that's played a cowboy better than Val Kilmer, Doc Holliday, Tombstone.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, he was just dynamite.
I would agree with
When he was in that.
What's your favorite Val Kilmer movie, other than that one? What would be
I mean,
your
that
second?
one's probably my favorite. I mean, Top Gun is amazing, where he's Iceman.
Mine
And it's
is.
so sad. Val Kilmer is so cool on the silver screen. The Val Kilmer documentary is so sad.
Did you read it? Did you watch it?
I did.
Yeah.
Such a fall from startup in grace.
Yeah, but you gotta give him some credit. He's out there doing it. He can barely speak.
Yeah,
he's
the
got
voice
a stoma.
box?
He's got a stoma. I think it's called a stoma. Yeah. So my best Val Kilmer movie is when he played Jim Morrison on The Doors.
Okay, that one was excellent.
That was that I've seen videos of Jim Morrison on that end of it. You could not tell the difference. I mean, he looked like them, act like them. You know, it was pretty good.
Favorite, I also like Val Kilmer and The Saint. Have you seen that one? Where he's kind of like a
So
spy.
I'm a TCM fan. I'm a
Turner Classic Movies. we
Yeah,
know
so
that.
I literally.
Yonna says to you all the time,
Yeah,
why the hell are we watching this again?
Yeah, Mrs. Smith fell asleep last night on the couch, And
Now, you put Yellowstone on, Mrs. Smith is going to be watching
Yeah,
from
but
start
that's
to
got
finish.
nothing to do.
I think that has something to do with Kevin
That
Costner.
got a damn thing to do with the story. Why can't you be like him? I got a mustache, honey. You know, what do you want?
Well, you can put on your cowboy hat and some Lee jeans. Oh, that's
It's
terrible.
a family show.
Judah, what is your favorite Western of all time? And I'm going to ask that question to Judah as well. Mine's Tombstone.
Yeah.
My most iconic cowboy is Doc Holliday from Tombstone. What is yours?
Well, you won't.
You're going to go back in the day.
Yeah.
Can do something where the viewers can relate here that's relatively...
Okay, so my favorite.
Go back in the day and then a new one.
Our chemistry's working. My
can do
favorite Western movie is Stagecoach.
Okay.
My second favorite movie is High Noon. My third favorite movie is Who Killed Liberty Valance. Modern movies would be Pale Rider. You know, pretty much anything with Clint Eastwood in it. You know, as far as Western, but you know something because that Pale Rider had who plays God all the time. African American actor. It'll come.
Morgan Freeman?
Morgan Freeman.
Yeah.
He ends up getting killed in it, but
Spoiler.
well, sorry. Oops.
Spoiler
But-
for anyone who wants to watch that.
But it's a pretty neat story. It's about a guy that married somebody who took him out of the killing business, the gunslinging business. She dies and money's tight, and he takes on a job.
How about Judas?
Oh, how about this? Which is the better version, the original Magnificent Seven or the new version?
I like the newer version. Judas probably got a take on that.
I prefer the Japanese version.
I was about to say what What is that movie? It's the Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurai.
Seven
Yep.
Samurai. So if you
There's a
haven't-
lot of movies that are based on his stuff.
If you have not seen this,
There are a lot.
if you have not seen that is a freaking awesome. movie.
Including Star Wars.
What I did know that
Oh,
as
you're
well.
gonna go to Star Wars?
I mean, the dude loves
Am I
Star Wars.
wrong?
Dude, what is your favorite Western? Jack of all trades, Judah Wickower.
I think I got to give it to Open Range.
Oh yeah,
That is such a good
Forgot
movie.
about that. Oh, how about the new 310 to Yuma versus the old one?
I don't remember the old one. The new one is good, but Open Range is just, it's more than just a cowboy movie. It's, it's got everything, and it's so well done, and just,
Pretty awesome shootout at the end.
Oh, one of the best, and very realistic as well. It's not just like, they're like hiding.
So Judah, I love you. How many shootouts have you been in?
One or two.
Sorry, Judah. I'm just teasing you.
Well, I mean, I don't mean
I love you, you know
realistic
that.
like I know what they're like. I just mean realistic
Because
as
we
in,
never very rarely ever sing him.
We should start singing
And
him.
I think I just started a new
should
trend.
start singing him.
Here's the problem with doing that, though.
What? He has controls of the mics and the cameras.
Oh.
I think did he just turn his mic off?
Oops.
Is that what you were going to say?
Yeah, that's kind of. No, I didn't think about that.
One of the things you learn, and you learned this very early on as a broadcaster. This is the NBC 29 and ESPN radio days. Is your producer, your board op.
He's God.
You better treat your producer or your board op well, because they got control of the board.
So the way I was going to go with that, it's the guys that are quiet and thoughtful that you got to watch out for, because they'll come in. I'm afraid of the zingers that actually might come out this way.
Most iconic cowboy for Judah Wickower.
most iconic cowboy.
Lee Elberson, best Val Kilmer movie ever.
Most
is The
iconic
Saint.
cowboy is 100% the man with no name.
I'm sorry. go
Okay,
ahead.
so we got
I apologize.
Most
Sorry.
iconic cowboy is 100% the man with no name.
who? What? I meant more of an actor. Okay, well, no,
Yeah,
that works. That
That-
works as well. That works.
Right?
Yeah, I'll respect.
Clint Eastwood?
Yeah.
You disagree with that, Keith?
No.
That's
So we're
that's
saying
my choice.
Clint Eastwood as an actor in the role of the man with no name was the best character.
Yeah, most iconic cowboy for me.
Got it.
Elberson saying Unforgiven. Elberson, you're making us better today, Elberson. He says Unforgiven.
So I
Clint
think-
Eastwood.
No, so
Unforgiven is Eastwood?
No, I owe Lee 2 lunches because the movie I was thinking about was Unforgiven, that Pale Rider. So he actually.
But Unforgiven is Eastwood.
Eastwood, yeah. So Eastwood did 2 westerns, modern westerns. The first was Pale Rider. Well, he'll probably correct me. I think Pale Rider came out first, and then Unforgiven. Unforgiven is the one with Morgan Freeman in it. So I got that wrong.
Queen of Earlysville, Vanessa Parkhill. What about True Grit? She loves John Wayne.
Yeah. I'm a huge John Wayne fan, but I've got to tell you, Jeff Bridges played the Cochran character in the new True Grit much better than I think Wayne did.
Jeff Bridges is fantastic.
Yeah, much better.
True Grit is great. Good suggestion there, VP, Vanessa Parkhill. Grayson, putting in the feed on Facebook. Love when you watch, Grayson. Where are you at, Grayson? We need to give you a moniker, Grayson. We have the Queen of Jack Jewett, Carol Thorpe, the Queen of Earlysville, Vanessa Parkhill, the Queen of Keswick, Joanne Mackey, the King of Content, and I'm very hesitant to offer that tied, but the King of Content I'm giving to Neil Williamson, hashtag Content Slinger.
Sean Tubbs is a close.
Sean Tubbs needs to participate a little bit more on the show. Okay, I'm just saying that. I love you, Sean Tubbs. Neil Williamson contributes quite often on the program.
He does. We got
the King of Crozet, Mark McKinney, Community Advisory Committee, who I've been told you guys just had a chat. You and Mark.
We had a chat. We need to get together in person. It was over the phone. It was a great chat. He asked a couple of questions. I hope I was helpful and was happy to do whatever I could for him.
So we're starting to offer monikers for people.
Yeah.
Which I think is cool. So Grayson, we need your moniker. But he says one of the best lines ever in a Western, which interestingly Lee has also agreed to on LinkedIn, but on Facebook, Grayson says, when Doc Holliday says, "I'm your Huckleberry," everything stops for me. And whenever I see Tombstone on television, I stop and watch it from start to finish.
So to watch Tombstone, just to watch Val Kilmer.
He's amazing in it.
Just to watch him.
Yeah.
Just to watch him.
When he's in the bar and Johnny Ringo comes up to him and like pulls a gun and does all the gun.
And then he takes the thing.
He takes his cup, his silver cup, and does it.
The fact that the dude carries a silver cup on him.
It's a shot glass. It was his shot, for the whiskey.
Yeah, I know that.
It's badass, right?
Badass, I like it.
Don't you think?
Mm-hmm. So, interesting. It's bring it back to history and stuff like that. Where was Doc Holliday from originally?
I don't have that answer. Do you know
the
that
character?
Answer?
Oh, come on.
The character in the movie?
The character in the movie.
He was a dentist. He's from the East Coast, right?
But where did he come from?
Was it the East Coast?
It would be the East Coast, but we're talking about local history and stuff. It's not so local, but
do you know? I don't know.
Virginia.
Okay.
If you go back and watch the story, when he starts talking about, there's a couple of.
Where in Virginia?
I don't think he went into it. I think he was.
Let's see.
Yeah, so he has a Virginian accent. He has a Southern accent.
He does.
Right?
Southern drawl.
And he's from Virginia.
I'm doing a quick Google on Doc Holliday.
Well, I don't know what Wikipedia says about that.
It says Griffin, Georgia.
Okay, well,
it says Griffin, Georgia.
Boy, I'm batting 1,000. So who else do I owe lunch to?
It says Griffin, Georgia here.
I heard Virginia.
This is Wikipedia. An American gambler, gunfighter, and a dentist.
But in the movie, I think he says Virginia.
Does he say Virginia?
I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm going to now have to watch this.
Are you shooting from the hip over there?
I'm shooting with my shot glass.
You know, Sam Elliott was also in that as Wyatt Earp's Kurt Russell's brother.
That's right.
He gets his leg shot with a shotgun in the fight at the OK Corral.
And then the other actor, I can't remember who the other actor was.
Well, I mean, we should just call up the Tombstone.
Because I think the other actor,
his other brother
is
also quite famous. 1993 in the movie. That'll make you feel old.
Thanks.
That right there, the movie is 29 years old. Put that in perspective. How old is your youngest daughter?
Boy, what is this?
How old is your youngest daughter?
Are you guys texting each other bazingas on Smith or something today? Is that what you guys are doing?
Bill Paxton is Morgan Earp. He's a famous
Bill
actor.
Paxton.
Bill Paxton.
That's right.
Kurt Russell, Wyatt Earp, Sam
I'm trying to
Elliott,
remember what other
Virgil
movies
Earp.
he was in. Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember that. 20.
Jason Priestley, 90210's Jason Priestley, Brandon Walsh was Billy Breckenridge. Remember the constable? I believe he was a constable in that.
Vaguely.
Jason
27
Priestley.
is the I got a text 27.
She texted you?
No.
Yeah, you better know your daughter's
I'm only
age.
kidding.
One of my favorite shows was when you didn't know the middle name of your daughter.
You know, there was times I called her by the dog's name. So
You didn't call her Boris.
no, it was Leo actually at that time. But
Ned Galloway, my friend.
Ned.
Supervisor says mustaches and westerns. How come this was not a topic for Neil and I?
that's right.
Ned, you're hilarious, dude. I love some Ned
So what's
Galloway.
his favorite? What's his favorite Western?
Ned Galloway, what is your favorite?
And sell some cars, will you? Stop
Ned
throwing up.
Galloway is great people. I'm responding to him on the chat, laughing and saying, what is your favorite Western?
Go sell the car.
And Cowboy. Let's see what he says. Ned Galloway is great people.
So what's your favorite? Tombstone's your favorite.
Tombstone and Doc Holliday.
What's your favorite?
He said his. His was.
Well,
say
what
it
your
again.
favorite Western is?
My favorite Western was Open Range.
Open
Range.
range. Got it.
And your favorite cowboy was the man with no name.
Most iconic.
Most
Most
iconic.
iconic.
Yeah.
Got it. So of all the spaghetti westerns, which one did you like the most?
They kind of blend together for me, and
Well, they do on purpose.
most of them are based off of Akira Kurosawa movies.
That's
A lot
exactly
of people
right.
don't realize that.
I know.
Most of the westerns are based off of the Japanese samurai stories.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Why do you think that is?
I just think they match, right? The soul person, right? Or the soul good guy taking on the larger bad guys, group of bad guys. That was basically the basis of all those stories. That the samurai was the soul, cowboy, right? And he would ride off on.
He was a lone
in
wolf.
the sunset. So speaking about that, what's your best samurai?
We got a Ned Galloway answer, but finish your thought.
favorite-
Well, let's get Ned's thing. I want to go best samurai movie.
Best Samurai. Man, it's been so long since I watched it. I mean, Seven Samurai just is hard to beat.
Well, let me rephrase the question. What is your best American version of a samurai movie?
I don't know. I got to think about that.
I actually liked Tom Cruise's the movie The Last Samurai. That actually was a really good movie.
Ned Galloway,
Hey, Ned, I'm sorry.
Outlaw Josie Wales,
Oh yeah.
and Unforgiven certainly topped the list for Ned Galloway.
So we got at least 3 Unforgivens up there.
Yeah, we got Unforgiven on LinkedIn. We got Unforgiven on Twitter. We got Unforgiven on multiple Facebook pages. Unforgiven with our executive producer,
Yeah.
the distinguished gentleman. So that right now seems to be topping the list right now.
So when was
Elmerson's
that
saying Unforgiven.
When was that made?
I could do a quick Google search on that. We'll go a Google
That
search
had to
on
been
Unforgiven.
mid 90s, late 90s, I would think.
Let's check it out.
I'm trying to remember that.
I would say that's probably close. 92. So interestingly, Unforgiven, 1992, Tombstone, 1993.
So that was
a golden era of westerns.
Do Pale Rider, please.
I'll check.
Maybe I got it backwards. Maybe Unforgiven came first, then Pale Rider.
And remember, Wyatt Earp was right after Tombstone.
That's right.
So think about this golden era of westerns. You have Kevin Costner as
Whoa.
Wyatt.
Okay, go ahead.
You have Kevin Costner as
To me,
Wyatt
that's
Earp.
not the golden era of westerns.
Well, I mean,
but
that's a
okay.
hell of a golden era, dude.
Well, that was some great movies and a great thing.
You got 1992. 1992. You got Unforgiven with Eastwood as the star. You got 93 Tombstone with Kurt Russell as the star. And 94 Wyatt Earp with Kevin Costner as the star. That's a good little three. That's a 3-bagger right there. That's a nice 3-bagger.
Anybody check where Pale Rider came in at?
I'm doing that here.
So while we're doing that, we'll talk to Ned, who's selling cars right now. Please go over to car lots and buy a car.
Love car lots. Pale Rider 85. 1985.
So that's what I thought. That came first. So Ned, when the next Ned and Neil show come on, we'll pick a topic like whatever, best Star Wars or something like that. We'll see if we can battle it out between Ned and Neil on the best Star Wars movie.
And that was one of the best shows we've done, Ned Galloway,
It
with
was
Neil
very
Williamson
much so.
and Ned Galloway.
I actually been receiving emails and texts about that, so it was a great show.
So, did he answer the samurai one?
Yeah, I don't think we actually had answered the samurai one. I think that was just something that Smith threw in there to fill in some blank air time on that end of it.
Here's an interesting.
Judah's got a
Here's an
tidbit.
interesting tidbit. Unforgiven was actually turned into a Japanese movie.
So it went the other way.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
You know, a lot of the content, movies, and TV shows that are being released now in China are being completely revised. Are you following that?
Try that again?
Say that again.
So a lot of the movies and TV shows that are being released now in China, like in reruns, Friends TV show, China release. Let me do a quick Google on this.
So
are
you're
being revised by the communist government.
Yeah. You think
So
that's
Friends re-released in China, but China and the communist government took out the LGBTQ storylines.
Yeah. You think that's new?
I mean, I don't think that's new, but I mean, I think it's worth highlighting.
Yeah. It used to be done back in the bad old days when I was behind the Iron Curtain. They would actually hijack movies, or what's not hijack? When they take a movie illegally, whatever they do, and they actually retooled the whole movie and put it out to their local people, and they actually would change it around. They would make like a movie like where the Russians are the bad guys. They turn it around, make the Americans the bad guys and the Russians. They used to actually have some.
That's like revisionist history there.
Oh, that actually happened back then. So, did you know that I did never know this, behind the New Dominion bookshop, there's an actual secret rose garden?
The New Dominion Bookshop on the downtown mall.
On the downtown mall. If you go through
I
them,
actually did know that, and you know why I knew that?
did
Is
not know
because our son, we go to the Discovery Museum, and when you're in the back of the Discovery Museum, you can see that.
I did
Secret rose garden.
I did not know that.
What does it say about the rose garden? Read it verbatim.
You want me to read?
You can read.
It's got pictures.
You can read.
Oh, what does it say? The New York was the oldest bookstore in the Commonwealth of Virginia, which I did not know that, and is known for its exceptional customer service and cozy atmosphere. A grand staircase leads to a second-story stage. Yada yada yada. Let me see. Where's the talk about the
Yada yada
yada
yada.
yada 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 yada. The secret about the shop is what lies behind it. Through the store and out the back door, guests will find a glorious secret rose garden walled in by brick buildings on either side and a fence protecting it from the street behind. In the springtime, the bloom fills an archway above, and guests are permitted to bring lunch and sit among the rose petals. I've been living here, walking past that for 35 years. I never knew that. So guess where I'm going to take Mrs. Smith out for a date?
To the secret rose garden.
Secret
When are you
rose
going to do
garden.
that?
I'm going to wait to the spring and they start blooming maybe, or stuff like that. Pretty much not a good idea now there, Miller.
Very
Just
good.
saying. Just saying.
Very well done.
And Feast is in this book, by the way.
Feast is fantastic. Just celebrated 20 years.
And there's a whole thing about Bodo's, which we won't debate that bagel.
What does it say about Bodo's?
But basically, it literally, I read this yesterday. It literally says there's this huge debate going on between New Yorkers and Charlottesville.
So the quintessential debate.
It's the debate that's been going on for centuries on that end of it.
I mean, that'll never be resolved.
I love my buddy Joe Gentile very much so, but I have to be honest, I prefer Bodo's over.
Well, I mean-
Interesting thing, they won't toast. Did you know that?
Why don't they toast?
So according to this, they don't toast because they've got their system down so quickly. It will slow things down.
Which, I mean, is a good call.
I get it.
Sometimes you want to toast.
It tells you here, if you want to toast, go home and toast it. I love
Soup Nazi ass.
super. Yes, yeah.
That's super.
Yeah, and if you read, it's the reason I guess one of the reasons I love Bodo's, other than the bagels so much, if you read the thing about it, it's very New Yorkerish, right? And they actually talk about this, because that was actually one of the ones I read last night and retained. And I've been in that line. Have you ever been in the long line on that, and somebody walks up there and doesn't know what they want?
Yeah, there's
It's
a little pressure.
Really?
Yeah.
There's a board there. You're in the line for 10 minutes. You ought to know what you want before you walk up.
Well, the pressure, it's because of that, because you're going to be waiting for a little bit in line. You should be able to answer immediately.
Well,
especially when you know there's multiple 10s, 20s people waiting behind you.
Yeah. So
There's no more, here's a good question for you, the more efficient operation, Bodo's or Chick-fil-A?
Oh.
It might be Chick-fil-A in that situation.
Yeah,
I mean, Chick-fil-A has the vehicle.
But it's apples and pears, man. They're both fruit.
I mean,
they're different, though.
Quick serve restaurants.
They are, but let's face it. Most people drive through Chick-fil-A these days.
At one time, Bodo's had a drive-thru.
Yeah, it's funny. They talk about it in here. They had a drive-thru, but they didn't actually use it very often. It got discontinued pretty.
Well, it had a drive-thru during COVID.
It had a drive-thru during COVID. That's right. It had a drive-thru
There
during
was
COVID.
a little bit of a traffic backup over there.
Yeah, well, I would say they're, as far as organizational skills,
It was pretty darn good.
I would say both of them are on par. One's just a little bit different because of the volume. The volume at Chick-fil-A
Is out of this world.
Is out of this
Thousands.
world. Yeah, it's just well, Christopher Eagle's wife
Pantops, Chick-fil-A.
manages the Pantops Chick-fil-A and all that stuff.
And they have customer service down pat. Your weekend plans as we close, my friend?
At work, we've got clients all weekend long. Inventory's picking up a little bit, which is great. Great news to see. It's not going gangbusters, but I think the spring market is starting to spring a little bit, and you're starting to see a lot of. We never got to it. I got a bunch of data here. We're starting to see some coming soons, which we didn't see a month ago. Each jurisdiction has somewhere between 4 and 6 coming soons, which means they're going to be hitting the active market somewhere between 0 and 14 days, somewhere along that. So there's inventory going up. Buyer pool is still pretty darn deep, and the inventory pool a little on the thin side. I was talking to Ned last night at a commission meeting, at an executive committee agenda setting meeting. I was asking how his business was doing, and same exact conversation. Need inventory, got buyers, need inventory. So it's really kind of connected the two businesses, the car business, the used car business, or car business in general, and the residential or the real estate business. So.
Very good stuff. I wish you the best.
Yeah, I didn't realize it's 11:37.
It was fun. These are some of my favorites.
I've
You too, Judah. Good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the last Friday with Ned and Neil was just a great content. Dynamite show. Was a lot of fun too.
My wife gave Supervisor Galloway props.
Really?
After the show, she said that dude knows his stuff.
Did they say something about the beard? Is that what she said?
Oh, she gave him props. She said that dude knows his stuff.
He knows
Exact
his
words.
stuff. He knows his stuff.
Yeah.
Most people don't know he's got a PhD.
I did not know that. In what?
Yeah.
Do you know?
He's got a PhD.
Dude knows his stuff.
He's got a PhD. A guy who got kicked out of, who finagled his way out of high school with roses. When I see a PhD, it impresses me. So he has a PhD.
Very, very, very well done. Judah, good job. Real talk. Yes, Realty Partners, guys.
Judah, thanks for adapting so quickly, man.
Yeah, excellent work. Thank you kindly for joining us, guys. This is Real Talk on a Friday. We will be back Monday at 10:15 a.m. for Real Talk, and the I Love CVille show is in 40 minutes. We will see you very soon. Take care.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well done, Judah.